In an 1895 Arizona scene, a hushed crowd watches chips click across a faro table. Gambling defined saloon towns, drawing Eastern transplants who treated cards as a legitimate trade, respected like law or medicine. 5 men entered a Fort Worth studio looking like businessmen in suits and bowler hats for a single portrait. That polished photo later became a wanted poster, helping detectives track the Wild Bunch's train and bank robberies. Miners rested their elbows for so long at the toll gate bar in 1897, Black Hawk, Colorado, that calluses formed. Though the saloon barred native people, and Chinese patrons risked danger merely entering. Promontory Summit in 1869, 2 locomotives met as crews cheered, the Golden Spike moment completing the Transcontinental Railroad. Chinese and Irish laborers had blasted tunnels and laid track, enduring the dangers that made it possible. No cowboy could tame Steamboat, the fierce and stubborn rodeo bronc that became a symbol of Wyoming's toughness. Its rearing silhouette now graces the state's license plates, evoking dust, cheers, and frontier grit. Rough nights in Dodge City ended with lawmen patrolling the boardwalks in unison to calm the wild cattle town. Wyatt Earp walked Front Street, restraining gamblers and gunmen until order finally held. At Fort Abraham Lincoln, a scarred cavalry horse named Comanche stood as the sole survivor of Custer's command at the Little Bighorn, where Lakota and Cheyenne fighters overwhelmed the 7th Cavalry. He was nursed back and honored. At the White Elephant Saloon in Bingham, Utah, 1906, 3 men crowd a faro table under low lamps, chips stacked and cards sliding. Faro moved money faster than poker, filling seats on miners' payday nights. Beneath a crooked Jackson's Bar sign in Idaho, men loiter with rifles and long coats, exuding menace. Whiskey there bought courage and trouble alike, as card games often escalated into tempers and violence. Beside the rail yard, miners, merchants, and sailors set aside work for baseball, playing in patched uniforms with a scuffed ball. For 9 innings, rivals became teammates, and the rough frontier paused to breathe. In summer 1872, Lieutenant George Wheeler's survey team paused near Cedar, Utah, where photographer Timothy O'Sullivan captured Paiute families before continuing to chart rivers, later nearly drowning in the Truckee River's rapids. Near Pie Town, a wagon team pulls a stuck car from mud, Old Strength rescuing new machinery. Long before automobiles, the Pony Express delivered mail west, changing horses every 12 miles until telegraph lines replaced it. In 1867, young geologist Clarence King led a survey team near Oriana, Nevada, riding wagons and photographing the landscape for the War Department, while mapping terrain for future railroads and mining operations. At Fort Apache in 1890, the black troopers of the 10th Cavalry, known as Buffalo Soldiers, patrolled harsh canyons despite facing prejudice, scouting trails and escorting wagon trains through the demanding frontier. At Diamond Creek's sandy shore, the Wheeler survey team poses with Native American guides after hauling their boat up Black Canyon, resting on rope coils near a canvas-wrapped bow. Big Nose, Kate commanded any saloon she entered, able to pour whiskey, stitch wounds, and out-argue men. She ran rooms, nursed the sick, and stood loyally by Doc Holliday, even as his fortunes declined. A woman in buckskins rests her hand on Wild Bill Hickok's headstone. Calamity Jane called them sweethearts and joked with the grave. Years later, her final wish placed her beside him in Deadwood Cemetery. Piano music, stomping boots, and gunfire tore through the saloon as a cowboy danced nervously. The barkeep's rifle stilled the room, while quiet plains hunters sustained people with meat and pelts. A gunman draws inside Fort Worth's White Dog Saloon as smoke fills the air and patrons duck for cover. Such chaos inspired reformers to launch the Anti-Saloon League, aiming to outlaw drinking nationwide. Under moonlight, a velvet-clad rider halted a posse with nothing but a smile. Belle Starr, the bandit queen, favored charm over bullets, knew every border crossing, and ruled the backroads alongside Sam Starr until an ambush ended her life. Inside Old Tascosa's Equity Bar in 1907, dusty cowboys lean along the rail with raised glasses. Once dubbed Texas's cowboy capital, its remoteness from railroads and law made saloons a haven for drifters and fugitives. Again, a pistol flashes inside Fort Worth's White Dog Saloon as men scatter through drifting smoke. Such violent nights bolstered temperance advocates who founded the Anti-Saloon League with a single mission: making America dry. Around 1880 in Miles City, the Bob Saloon stood on the open plain, where cattlemen and freighters gathered after long days to talk and drink. Some evenings roared with noise. Others simply settled quietly. In a church basement, townsfolk sipped lemonade and pledged sobriety, weary of barroom violence, forming a temperance league. Elsewhere, Geronimo led his band through the wilderness, and a boy named Jimmy wept when soldiers found him. Men gather at the Roadhouse in Bluff City, Alaska, trading news over drinks after a frigid day. As the frontier expanded, saloons multiplied into gambling dens, dance halls, restaurant bars, and even brothels. Before dawn on a Louisiana road, former Texas Ranger Frank Hamer checked his rifle. After months tracking Bonnie and Clyde across 5 states, he ended the chase in 1934, later confronting the Klan and stopping lynchings. At the Weaver Brothers Saloon in Summit County, 1890, men leaned on the bar for warm beer or rye whiskey, sometimes adulterated with cayenne, gunpowder, or ammonia to stretch the bottle and fill the till. Amid stinging snow, Mary Fields gripped the reins and kept the mail moving. Standing 6 feet tall with a cigar and rifle, Stagecoach Mary outlasted wolves and robbers, earning respect across Montana for her reliability. At Winslow's Fashion Saloon, the Hash Knife Cowboys pause at the bar. Once herders for the Aztec Land and Cattle Company, they became notorious for gunplay and rustling, their brand name forever tied to trouble. A lone drifter waved down a stagecoach on a dusty Arizona road, pearl heart, hat low and rifle steady. She robbed it, fled, was captured and jailed in Yuma, then charmed reporters before early release. Before noon in Tombstone, 1881, boots pounded Fremont Street as the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday clashed with the Cowboys near the OK Corral. Though the corral later burned, the gunfight made Tombstone legendary forever. Along the Rio Grande at Langtree, a sign read, "Law west of the Pecos." Judge Roy Bean ran court and bar together, chose juries from drinkers, fined offenders with rounds, and once attacked a rival saloon. Billy the Kid, famed for his fast draw across New Mexico, once set aside his revolver for a croquet mallet, laughing with friends in a dusty yard, a rare glimpse of calm amid his outlaw life. Inside Table Bluff's Hotel Saloon, pelts hang thick as mountain men and trappers warm themselves and swap trail stories. These rugged travelers scouted routes and river crossings, opening the fur trade's path westward. An Apache mother stands in profile, her baby secured in a cradleboard on her back. The device kept the child safe while she walked, worked, or rode. A scene of quiet strength and everyday resilience. In 1876, Deadwood sprang up like a campfire tale, drawing gamblers and drifters with gold discoveries. Tents, whiskey, and hasty deals filled its streets. where law remained scarce and luck governed everything. In Park City, miners raised glasses as a piano played before their next shift. Utah's drinking laws remain strict today, with state-controlled liquor wholesale and grocery beer capped at 4% alcohol. Festive bunting drapes the back bar at Lagoon Resort, where white-coated bartenders stand ready and locals crowd the rail. The mood feels celebratory. Cold drinks, framed photos, and easy conversation marking summer's arrival. In 1892, a man stands beside a towering pile of bones called Bison Skull Mountain, remnants of once vast herds sold for fertilizer and bone char. A quiet image warning of waste and vanishing abundance. In 1890 at Pine Ridge, participants in the ghost dance move in a wide circle, calling for renewal amid drumming and rising dust. A photograph capturing both faith and fear during a tense national moment. Inside Elliott's Combination Saloon in Utah, bottles stand rigid and eyes stay watchful. Between quiet sips and tense silences, every patron seemed ready to either raise a toast or draw a gun. On April 12, 1904, an auctioneer atop a crate sold plots of Imperial to crowds of farmers and speculators betting on water and growth. By sundown, every lot had sold, and hope claimed the valley. At noon on April 22, 1889, a cannon signaled the Oklahoma land rush as wagons surged forward. By evening, towns existed with named streets. Some Sooners cheated early, while native nations lost land again. Calamity Jane rode point for a wagon train, reading stars and locating water while keeping the mule steady. Despite dangerous terrain, her calm leadership brought every wagon safely into Deadwood days later. On a Bingham boardwalk around 1900, miners, aproned women, and children crowd beneath a California bar sign near an Italian boarding house, offering food, lodging, and multilingual conversation after long shifts underground. At the Little Bighorn, Crazy Horse led fighters from the Cottonwoods in a charge that overwhelmed Custer's 7th Cavalry within minutes. Though he later surrendered and died in custody, his fearless charge endures in memory. River mist rose over the Mahakam as canoes reached Long Bagoon during the 1898 to 1900 expedition, guided by Dayak paddlers. Facing rapids and leeches ahead, the crew mapped new terrain and shared campfire stories. Under Arizona's scorching sun, immigrant crews, Mexican, Chinese, and Irish laborers, swung hammers and blasted rock to lay railroad track, enduring long shifts, scarce water, and blowing sand as the line pushed toward small towns. Tents ring a dusty camp outside Tombstone in 1881, as coffee brews and mules stamp nearby. In town, Fly's photo gallery stays busy with miners and gamblers before the camp packs up toward silver and danger. At the turn of the century, Bingham High Street in Utah buzzed nightly with saloon signs, swinging doors, and pianos, as miners spent payday wages loudly, an unusually rowdy block for a temperance-minded state. In a staged photo from the late 1800s, two coated gamblers lean over cards, each holding a pistol on the other while a bottle stands between them, capturing the volatile mix of booze and bad tempers. At Hidden Wood Creek, General Custer walked among tents and horses as scouts brought news from the hills. Knowing they were deep in Lakota territory, he soon ordered the men packed and moving onward. In 1913, boxy trucks bearing giant cowboy billboards idled outside the Wagoner Brewing Company, drivers grinning beneath their hats. The rolling parade advertised beer just before Prohibition and the coming World War. Before sunrise, a badge-wearing lawman quietly read a warrant. Bass Reeves, born enslaved, became a U.S. deputy marshal who captured over 3,000 outlaws across Indian Territory, proving courage could triumph over prejudice. South of Virginia City, Gold Hill thrived as a bustling 1800s mining town. The Comstock Lode silver and gold funded schools, railroads, and saloons, until the ore ran thin and prosperity faded quickly. Near midnight in 1881 at Fort Sumner, Pat Garrett entered a dark room and shot Billy the Kid, a former friend, at close range. That single shot transformed Garrett into legend and ended the outlaw's life. Centuries of wind shaped this cliff before a visitor carved his mark. On Inscription Rock, New Mexico, a Spanish soldier etched his name and the date, February 18, 1726. Proof preserved long before photography existed. Near Fort Defiance, a Navajo family works quietly by their brush shelter. A loom stands ready, corn dries overhead, children spin thread. Despite pressure from soldiers and traders, they preserve their weaving and herding traditions. At Fort Bowie in late summer, Apache leaders Naiche and Geronimo sit calmly on a stone wall, blankets and gear scattered nearby. The peaceful scene masked the difficult path that lay ahead of them. In Bisbee, Arizona, a crowd gathers beneath low lamps around a faro table, chips clinking as the dealer works. Faro dominated mining towns, moving money swiftly while tempers flared and pistols stayed within reach. Prairie wind sweeps past a family standing outside their sod and canvas dugout, roofed with logs and dirt. Lacking timber, they built from earth, hauled water, and endured harsh storms with stubborn, quiet determination. At the Cowboy Bar, rows of hats line a counter no longer rough-hewn but gleaming with carved wood, mirrors, and brass. Cowboys now sip cocktails instead of trail dust, showing the frontier's growing sophistication. At dawn, the 3rd Infantry assembled outside the fort as a sergeant commanded rifles raised. Built in 1878, the outpost protected wagon trails and stage routes, with scouts and drills ensuring constant readiness. As music plays and the gate opens, Tilly Baldwin stands atop a galloping horse, riding fearlessly like a wave rider. Despite falls and injuries, she proved the real star was a daring cowgirl, not a cowboy. A spotted dog balances on a stool with a target atop its head as Annie Oakley raises her rifle nearby. She sliced cards and hit coins with precision, proving skill outweighed size on stage. Sawdust, whiskey, and loose pistols fueled the 1878 Lincoln County War's violence. Later, Butch Cassidy's gang posed sharply for a Fort Worth portrait, unknowingly giving Pinkerton agents a roadmap to hunt them down. On the Garbarino House restaurant balcony in Colorado, townsfolk pause amid business. As wealth flowed westward, saloons added dining rooms and polish, trading sawdust and brawls for linens and respectable family gatherings. Drums rolled in Ponca City, as Mabel Hackney Tompkins urged her horse Skyrocket to leap a long dinner table cleanly. In traveling arena shows, women riders like Mabel became the true headline act. On a porch in Gilt Edge, 1897, buckskin-clad Calamity Jane laughs boldly among men. She rode hard, drank harder, yet tended the sick until dawn, proving her fearless spirit defined the frontier's rules. Crowds fill the Holy Moses Saloon in 1890 Mineral County, trading trail dust for whiskey amid fiddles and card games. Though the plank floors vanished, that spirit of camaraderie survives in taverns today. An aging Wyatt Earp squints in the California sun, long removed from Dodge City and Tombstone, now advising film cowboys. He died in 1929, the last OK Corral survivor, still influencing the West through cinema. Around 1890, A cheering cowboy rode his horse directly into a Hell in a Saloon, while the bartender suppressed laughter.